Welcome back, everybody. Can't wait to dive into today's Cabral House Calls each and every weekend, answering somewhere around 10 to 12 questions from the community. Excited because as we begin New Year's, we get new questions. Some of them maybe we've tackled in the past, but whatever it is that's ailing you, I really hope that this is the year we can help you find out what the underlying root cause imbalances are and truly heal. And I would say not just heal, and go on to enjoy your best year yet. That's really what it's all about. So, all right, let's dive right in. Let's see what's going on with the community. First one is from EL. It says, "Hi, Dr. Brawl. I had an endoscopy done in January 2024 and found gastrointestinal metaplasia in the stomach. In July, I had a second endoscopy done to take a more deeper look and map it, and the results were the same and stable. No change. The gastro said that it looked more like autoimmune gastritis because I tested positive for the antibody. She explained to me it's one and the same. She said not to worry because the chances it becomes malignant were slim, and I monitored it with repeat endoscopies every 2 years. I had a GI map done per my internal doc that ruled out H. pylori, which she said was not real data and disregarded it." That's hilarious. "Taking gastric gum and GI benefits, Manuka honey on occasion. How long should I take these supplements? Forever? What can I do? Can it be reversed?" All right. So it is still amazing that doctors don't believe in any other blood tests besides blood work. It's like amazing, because a stool test, you ran the GI map. We have ours over at Equilife for bacteria, parasites, and H. pylori. I mean, these are clinical lab tests. I mean, this is how you test for H. pylori. It's so much better than blood or breath tests or any of those things. So it's wild that they would disregard it. But, here's the thing though. Many doctors disregard things because if they don't know about it, they don't want to seem like they're not in the know, they're not in the loop. When the truth is this, is that doctors aren't supposed to know everything about everything all the time. That's not impossible. Most doctors are absolutely brilliant, but you have to have a little bit of humbleness like that. Sometimes you just don't know, and maybe it's outside of your scope, right? So anyway, let's talk about this gastrointestinal metaplasia or intestinal metaplasia. Essentially what this amounts to, for those people out there that are not familiar, inside of your stomach lining, you start to grow cells that look like intestinal-based cells, and they are sometimes called precancerous. Now, again, I can't give you medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but most of the time, this is called GIM. This never progresses to cancer. So that's the good news. How does it usually happen? Sometimes from H. pylori, sometimes from ulcers, a lot of time gastric ulcers, and stomach-based issues. Could it be autoimmune-based? Maybe. The most likely scenario is that you had H. pylori, or you had an ulcer, or you had some stomach-based irritation, and that's how it grew. And yeah, hopefully it never progresses, and because you're going to do all the healthy things. You already ran the stool test, which is great. I would run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and then I would run the IgG food sensitivity test. You can find those at stephencabral.com/labs or just stephencabral.com/shop, where everything is, all the protocols, all the labs. And then I would begin the protocol that you need for you. If everything's balanced, then fantastic. You literally don't need to do anything else, except you'll want to take the daily foundational protocol. So you get all the methylated Bs, all the things that you need, the omega-3s. You'll take your vitamin D. You'll get all of the things that you want. Now, can Manuka honey and mastic gum and those types of things be great? Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But I would most likely be helping your stomach out with all the foundational based nutrients, but rule out Candida overgrowth, rule out the bacterial overgrowth as well. All right. So that's my recommendation. And yeah, it sounds like, again, these things happen. I work with many people with benign cysts or GIM or whatever it might be, and it never turns into anything, which obviously that's what we hope. All right. So Alicia is up next. "Hi, Dr. Brawley. Recently asked you about very high levels of vitamin B12 that my blood work shows, despite not supplementing with B12, other than what's in my multi. You said it may be a liver issue, that perhaps my liver is not processing my B12, and that's why the vitamin keeps circulating in my blood. Can you please elaborate on this? How can I check if my liver does not process B12? What kinds of tests should I run for my liver? Thanks so much for your help." Okay. So I just have to be careful. Obviously I want to help people as much as I can. I have to be careful because, again, I can't provide you with any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. But if you're not supplementing with B12 and you have elevated B12, there there are very specific diseases of the body that can affect the kidneys, the liver, autoimmune, as well as other conditions that bind to and hold on to B12 in the blood. Okay, so I might do a separate show on this because I can't answer your question and then talk about specific diseases, because then you think you have them and then you think that it's a diagnosis for me, and that's not the case. Okay, so how do you test your liver? You can look at AST and ALT enzymes. That's one, but also it could be, again, I have a whole podcast on this, non-alcoholic or alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right. Very prevalent. And that could be a reason why. It could be an autoimmune issue. Lupus would be one of those as well, where it could be elevated, right? So like that could be one of the issues. And again, I have no idea if you have any autoimmune markers or anything why that might be elevated as well. It could be infections that allow for it. Again, kidney-based issues. You'll run your BUN, your BUN. You'll run your different ammonia. You'll look at what's the marker that I'm looking at? Albumin, and a few other markers as well. So you just want to make sure that your blood work looks clean too. And then how do we know if the body's actually utilizing it or not? Well, you can run a test called a Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test. And on that, there's a vitamin panel. And it's actually for B12, but it's not B12. It's called methylmalonic acid. And so that now, methylmalonic acid shows, is the B12 actually being utilized? Because if you have high B12, but low methylmalonic acid, that means that something is either binding it up or you're not converting it to active B12, okay? So just make sure that you're using a functional medicine brand of a multivitamin like Equilife or other great functional medicine companies that use the form methylcobalamin so that you can also convert this over. And the used substrate metabolite would be methylmalonic acid, all right? So hopefully that's helpful. All right, next question here is from Alicia. Probably the same Alicia because she spells it the same. All right, hi again. What's your opinion on electric cars? Is it true that they are big EMF boxes? Ever since someone mentioned that, I can't help but wonder if it's true. I would love if you could make a show about this, perhaps the results of what about EMF readers inside of a Tesla, Cybertruck, and the self-driving Waymo. Thank you again for spreading your amazing knowledge. Thank you, Alicia. Appreciate you writing into the show. So, way back in the day, I actually took my EMF meter, like I often did, to conferences, and I would show the EMF readings in hotel rooms, in the hotel bed, because they put the wireless router under your bed sometimes, which is crazy. And so what I did was I pulled out the EMF meter, my tri-field meter, and I used it inside of a Tesla. Now I asked the driver, I said, hey, do you mind? I look at EMFs and basically I explain what electromagnetic frequencies are, fields are, and they're like, yeah, no problem. And believe it or not, it didn't test high. Now, this is going back a while. It's going back years. So I want to test the new ones. I want to test the Cybertruck, but also keep in mind the greatest amount of the EMFs will be near the battery. So are the batteries larger in these electric-based vehicles? Yes, of course. So could it be stronger? I believe so. How far does it dissipate from the individual? Usually it's like anywhere between 16 inches to 3 feet, but I want to test that. So it's a great idea, and I've been planning on doing this. The last part, though, is it's not just EMFs. It's also radiation. And these, I do believe, because it's my hunch as well, that there's a massive amount of radiation in these cars. So you asked me, do I have a self-driving? Do I have an electric vehicle? I do not. It's not that I can't, somehow get behind it in some way, shape, or form, and without it turning into like a political debate. But it's just right now, it's not for me. In the future, it may be, but right now, just not for me. And yes, I want to look at kind of all the safety as well. All right. Kelsey's up next. Kelsey says, hi, Dr. Brawl. I was wondering if you've heard of the brand of cookware called Hexclad. It advertises as getting the cooking experience of stainless steel, nonstick, and cast iron all in one hybrid pan. They say the nonstick is called Terabond, which is PTFE free and free from forever chemicals, and it's a patented technology. Thank you for your input. Yes. So someone asked about this, and it was a private client, and I looked it up. And then I had one of our health coaches on the Equal Life team ask me. And so I looked it up a second time. So they make it a little bit, a little hidden. And so the active ingredient is called Therabond, but they never really go on to it from there. But just like you said, it's PTFE, but it's HDPE. So you said it's PTFE free. Yes, I agree with you, but it's HDPE. Okay. So the reason why I know what HDPE is because then they make bottles and different things like that out of them. But what it stands for is high density polyethylene. So it's high density polyethylene, but it's in a patented form called Therabond. So it's able to withstand high heat without it getting, broken down, which is great. But it is a form of a plastic polymer. And over time, if it does get chipped at all, if it does start to break down, these things can be toxic. So what I want to say is this. I think that they've created a great nonstick pan that's healthier and safer than a lot of the nonstick Teflon pans, no doubt about it. Obviously, Teflon is toxic. It is cancerous. We've known it's cancerous for like 25 years. So here's what I would say, though. I personally and my family, like my immediate family, don't use any nonstick pans because whatever material is coming out, I truly believe it's like plastic. It's just going to be found to be toxic for us. It really is. And now if you can keep it embedded, obviously it's much better. So what we do in our house is we use stainless steel, we use glass, we use some ceramic. What else have we used? Just stone. We've used all sorts of different things, but non-stick, yes, it takes a little bit more time to scrub and to clean, but I think that the benefits over the long term outweigh, having to potentially deal with the effects of these non-stick based chemicals. All right. Thank you, Kelsey, for writing in. The last question for the day is from Jasmine. And it says, hey there. Firstly, I want to thank you for all your podcasts you put out and all that you give. I'm in the best health now at 36 years old because of how much I've learned and applied from all you've discovered and shared with us. That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Jasmine. I had my first baby last March, and I plan to try for another one next year in hope that they are somewhere close to 2+ years apart. I noticed the veins in my arms and hands enlarged during pregnancy and have remained enlarged post-pregnancy 9 months now. They often ache. I started out at a healthy weight of 5'9", 136. I gained 23 pounds during pregnancy. I'm wondering if there's anything I should consider taking to help me with the veins on my next pregnancy, maybe increasing my blood flow, etc. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you. Yeah, so happy to help with this. And honestly, this is very common. It usually happens to women more so in their legs than their hands and arms, but it's absolutely possible anywhere. So there's a few things to take into account. This is not uncommon because blood flow and blood volume increases during pregnancy, especially the last 10 weeks or so. Also, as progesterone levels elevate and stay elevated, it can make the veins actually a little bit more lax. And over time, they could be a little bit weaker. And if they become weaker and they have more stress on them because of the more blood flow, they may not go back to how they should. However, what we should be, and that can come with a lot of weight gain too for some women. Now, you didn't have a lot of weight gain. So 23 pounds during pregnancy is not a lot of weight gain, especially 5'9", 136. So I think we can rule that out as, being a part of the issue. So what I always recommend to all the women in my practice is make sure you're getting all the nutrients that your body needs. So for women in our practice, you don't have to do this, but the women in our practice, they use daily nutritional support or the daily activated multi. They take an additional 500 micrograms of methylfolate. They use 2 capsules of the omega-3 soft gels. They take vitamin D3 to make sure that they're within 15 and 70 on their lab test. They use daily probiotic support. And then that's basically it. There's not a whole lot more that they need until usually around 30 weeks, and then they'll start to need to add in an iron-based supplement so that they don't become anemic. Now, if they're not anemic, and great. They don't need it, but as you start to produce more blood volume, you usually need a little bit more iron. Sometimes you can get it through food. Many women become functionally anemic, and so they might need a little bit more. Now, it's not the only things you can use, but that's what we use, and it can be very, very helpful for inflammation. And then, obviously, you want to keep your exercise and movement going. So we still like women during pregnancy to get 7,000 and 10,000 steps a day. Now, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but that's something that I highly recommend. And then, not while you're nursing, but post-nursing, you can absolutely do a detox. You can do sauna. You can do other things too to help improve overall inflammation in the body. So that's where I would start. Hopefully that is helpful. I appreciate everybody tuning into today's show, and I will be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral HouseCall. Take care, everybody. Talk with you soon. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.